It's Matt Pinfield here for the Bowie Celebration, just for one day. And I'm here with my friend Corey Taylor, who you know, of course, from Slipknot, Stone Sour, his incredible new solo album. And it's part of a supergroup that got together just for this occasion, calling themselves Ground Control. And they did an incredible version of Hang On To Yourself. Here's a piece of that now.
Come on, come on. You really gotta get that girl, baby. Come on, come on. If you think we're gonna make it, better hang on to yourself.
You know, Corey, it's just so good to see you again, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
CMFT, the album, is great, man. It was such a cool, and I liked that it was a bit of a departure, too. I mean, so tell me about that.
That was, man, I mean, that was the culmination of, you know, call it 20 years of writing songs and you know, really having songs that just didn't fit with either entity that I've been attached to, obviously, you know, and it just, I wanted to share those songs with the world. I wanted to put them out there, you know, so I'd kind of been threatening to do it for a long time. And I was actually, you know, before the pandemic hit, obviously, I was originally going to go in January of next year to do it. And when everything shut down, I just kind of said, well, you know what, I'm going to play this by ear, but if it makes sense, I'll go in and do it early and just see what happens. And that's what we did.
Yeah. I mean, and this, you know, the singles have been really well received as well, which is great.
Yeah.
Videos are cool. And the stream that you did was amazing from the forum. You know, you had a lot of fun. The band was having a great time.
Yeah, man.
Really cool surprises.
Yeah.
I thought that, I mean, of all the streams that I've seen, that's truly one of the best that I've seen since the pandemic hit.
And we wanted to do something that was a very fair representation of us live, you know? Like, we didn't want to do the artsy thing. We didn't want to do something that seemed too pretentious. We just wanted to rock, you know? Like, we just wanted to, you know, just blow stuff up and you know, swing some fire, hot chicks, ugly dudes, you know?
Exactly.
We just wanted to, you know, just wanted to have fun with it, man. So it was... Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, we were able to really pull something off, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I think it was amazing, and people loved it, and it did really well. You know, Corey, one of the things that I've always loved besides, I mean, you talk about the other entities, Slipknot and Stone Sour, you know, I've been a fan forever.
Right.
And that's when we first met, early on, around touring for the first Slipknot album.
Yeah.
But I love your cover shows, too, that you do. And you did one at the Roxy that truly I was like, this is the best cover band of all time. I was so excited with the set list.
Yeah.
I mean, I remembered it. It was you went from the Damned love song into I think All This and More by the Dead Boys. Into Already Gone by Eagles. It was just like, I loved how diverse it was. It's kind of like our minds, the way our minds work, our tastes in music.
Right. I mean, when you're a music lover, not somebody that just puts it on in the background for noise, but when you're a music lover, you tend to explore so many different genres, so many different bands, so many different textures. And even like all of our favorite bands have done that inside their own careers, you know? So for me, you know, doing something like that, I wanted it to be a fair representation of the stuff that I listen to, you know? So every one of those songs was something that I would listen to, whether it was Minor Threat or In Excess or, you know, Lido Shuffle by Boz Scaggs, you know, one of the greatest pop songs of all time.
Yeah, it's a great track.
It's an amazing track, you know, and I'd never seen anybody. And the big thing was I'd never seen anybody play those songs live before. Like a lot of those, but you know, a lot of that stuff, I'd never seen anybody play it live before, you know, even the original artist who wrote it. So when I do a show like that, I purposefully go out of my way to try something. It's like, God, I wonder if anybody's seen this live, you know? Or when was the last time you saw this song live, you know? And that's the fun of it. That's the thrill of it. Plus getting all my friends together, you know, and just being, you know, incredibly selfish with their time.
But it's such a great time, and people all enjoy doing it.
Yeah, no, we had a blast, and that was kind of the little breadcrumb that got me back towards thinking about doing CMFT, you know, because I'd had so much fun with that band doing that. And, you know, all those dudes are such good friends of mine and have been for years, you know, it just made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, I mean, really, I'm excited about when you actually get to tour for this.
Yeah, man.
Now, I know you have like 2 records worth of material too, and the original idea, wasn't it to tour for a while on the first record and come back, but maybe even record both of them at the same time?
Yeah, I was originally going to do both. and then kind of see what happens. And I realized, I was like, you know what, let's just start with one and see what happens, see what the reception's like, basically, and just kind of have fun. And I went, and but everything's written for CMF2.
Yeah.
We actually just demoed it about a month ago. I had the guys come in and we demoed everything.
You all came to Vegas to hang, right?
Yeah. And having the band there at my house was a lot of fun again, and we just killed it, So it was really cool to be able to hear those songs again, like out of my head and with a real band playing stuff, And so we're well ahead of the curve, ready to go that. But I think I'm gonna do another Slipknot album before I go back and do CMF2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna be super busy.
Yeah, I mean, you always keep. That's a great thing about you having 3 different projects. I mean, and I love that, and writing at the same time. I mean, your books are great. I mean, there's so much. I love it. You're the kind of guy, and I can relate to it. That always wants to stay busy. Like,
I'm always busy. Yeah, almost to a fault. I mean, I've had to really kind of hold myself back over the last couple of years, man, because I'll book myself to death. And then collapse. Even though I'm exhausted emotionally, I'm still just ready to go creatively. So it's really, it's a matter of setting my own pace now. And not trying to kind of stay ahead and try to do something that I didn't want to do, but do something that I wanted to do with the energy and the respect that I have for it,
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean. So it works that way where you have the time to execute everything the way you want to do it with the amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of which, we talked about the cover set, and one of the things that I loved was that you did Moon Age Daydream from Ziggy Stardust the night that I saw you at the Roxy. And I love that you're part of this Bowie celebration. Tell me about when you discovered Bowie as a kid. What was the first thing you heard, and what made you become a fan?
The crazy thing about Bowie is that there's no one specific moment that I can point to. I can just remember becoming very aware that a lot of the songs that I liked were songs would come on and they were completely different. And I would turn on and be like, who is that? And it was Bowie, from the time I was really young to even into, my, mid 20s, man. It was one of those things where I was like, God, this is dope. Who is this? And I'd go, it's Bowie. I mean, he just did everything, whether it was the pure kind of funk pop of Fame, or the really weird, gnarly stuff like Fashion, Modern Love, Let's Dance, like all the guitar work that was done by Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, just like all these things where he was so innovative and so ahead of his time that you forgot that these were great songs, man. These were dope songs. So I just remember becoming very aware that I was a huge Bowie fan, and then coming back and, discovering him at that age and then kind of going backwards and getting into Hunky Dory and getting into, obviously Ziggy, but then Aladdin Sane is almost underrated in a weird way because of just how massive Ziggy was. So kind of going backwards like that was like rediscovering something that the secret that everybody had known about for years, man. I mean, there's a reason I've got him on my arm.
Yes, let's just look at that. That is amazing that you have Aladdin Sane, because the cover of Aladdin Sane, one of the greatest records too.
So good. Dude.
And isn't it cool that Mike Garson, this guy who puts this together, who like Bowie hired off to play at Ziggy on the tour when he met him. Next thing you know, he's laying down that piano part, that crazy cool avant-garde piano part on Aladdin Sane, or Time, or Lady Grinning Soul. I mean, that stuff is beautiful, right?
There's not even a word for how ahead of its time it was. Which is when he stopped and he split. You were just like, when he went to Diamond, it was crazy. Like people thought he was nuts, but he also knew that you reinvent to stay relevant, man. And to stay tapped into it. I mean, who wants to make the same albums over and over and over again? Nobody wants. Everybody
don't. And
exactly. I mean, everybody says they do. Everybody says they want that, but the second you do, they shit on it. I mean, you're gonna have to bleep that, but I mean that's what happens, man. So he knew better than anybody. What needed to happen, and that's to me, that's been my biggest inspiration from him is knowing that if you don't keep expanding the boundaries of what you've done or what you want to do, you will get pigeonholed and you will get painted into a corner creatively, and you'll get stuck.
Yeah, stuck, and then it's uninspiring too at that point.
Exactly.
Because you really want to stay inspired, like you're challenging yourself.
Exactly.
Which he always did, right?
Yeah,
I mean, going like you said from the years with the Spiders from Mars to Diamond Dogs, then jumping to that Plastic Soul period, he called it, with Young Americans Station to Station.
Right.
And then Berlin, that trio, and then
oh yeah, dude. I mean, working with Eno, and then producing Iggy's stuff on The Idiot. I mean, he just was so on the frontier of like just had that knack for knowing what was next. Everybody called him chameleonic, but he wasn't, because everybody was being chameleonic to him. He was setting the standard. He didn't blend in. He set the standard, and we all blended in with him.
Right, and kind of followed suit. And that was the thing that was so exciting about having him, is being a fan of his. Yeah, is that you
never knew what to expect. You never knew what you were going to get. Even when he got into the '90s and he started to kind of experiment with the electronic stuff, which was so dark. I mean, I'm Afraid of Americans blew me away the first time I heard it. I was like, wow, this is. I mean, with that mind, going that far out, I was like, it was tailor made for him. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was great. We've seen him and Trent do that together.
Right.
Amazing,
so sick.
Corey, man, I just want to thank you for coming by and doing this.
No worries,
I love
man.
seeing you always, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Always enjoy following what you do. So enjoyed the books too.
Well, thanks, man. I mean? Thank you. We're having a good time, right?
Yeah, killing it. Absolutely. During the pandemic, we still find ways to enjoy ourselves.
And not only that, but find ways to entertain people, because God knows some people need it right now, just a little bit of distraction.
Yeah, with all the craziness that's going on.
We'll see.
But that's great. But thanks for being a part of this, Corey.
No worries, man. My pleasure.
I will see you soon, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing it. It's great. Corey Taylor right here on the Just for One Day Bowie Celebration. Next time you join us, we'll be joined by Jane's Addiction guitarist Dave Navarro to talk about his love for David Bowie.